Welcome back to the Beauty Lab podcast. I'm your host, Velia, and today I will be interviewing my co-host, Monina.
Hello.
All about the differences between a professional facial and a DIY facial. Welcome to the Beauty Lab podcast, your drive time resource for all things beauty, health, and wellness. We're your hosts and favorite beauty nerds, Monina and Velia.
Join us as we debunk myths, explore the latest trends, and dive deep into the science behind your favorite products. We'll interview industry experts and answer your burning beauty questions in 30 minutes or less.
So, Monina, before we even get into like professional versus DIY, can you explain when you go into a facial room for the very first time, for people who've never had a facial, can you kind of explain, run through what a facial even is and what they should expect?
Okay, so when you go in to see a licensed esthetician, the first thing that we do is we do a consultation because we want to find out, like, are you allergic to anything? And most importantly, what is your skin type and what are we trying to target?
Okay.
Right? So even when people come in and they have 4 or 5 things that they're really concerned about, from like hyperpigmentation to acne or what have you, I still try to just focus on 1 or 2 things, because when we go into the treatment room, I then create almost like a little protocol of what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks or months to help address those issues. So with that said, a basic facial includes the following steps. So we cleanse the skin. We do what we call a double cleanse. And then we'll do some type of an exfoliator, whether it's using like an enzyme or a physical exfoliant of some sort, because we want to lift and get rid of all the dead skin buildup.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after we exfoliate, then we'll do some type of maybe a treatment mask of some sort. Now, if we're targeting something like hyperpigmentation, I may then include some other treatment step.
Okay.
And then after the treatment step, then we'll end with we'll do a nice massage. And usually it's the face, the neck, the shoulders, and the scalp, which is like, I would say 9 out of 10 people will say that's their favorite stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And then after that, then we put the appropriate moisturizer, and then we end with a sunscreen.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's your basic facial.
Okay.
Basically.
So it sounds like you really analyze the skin and talk about concerns that person is having, and then everything there on out is customized to that person's skin and sensitivity levels and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, even though you may go on an esthetician's website and you see like certain types of facials, a lot of times, because of our expertise, we may even switch it up slightly based on what's going on with your particular skin at that time. So that's another reason why you want to go see an esthetician. They can curate and customize facials specifically for your skin type and your skin concerns.
Okay. So normally we wait till like the end of our episode to ask a question from a listener, but this question from a listener, Gina from San Jose, she asked a question and I was like, oh, this would be a great like entire episode.
Okay.
So her question was like, what is the benefit of getting a facial from a professional versus just doing one at home?
Right, because all the steps I just listed, you could technically do at home.
Right.
Right. So, okay, the best way for me to explain the benefits or the differences would be, let me break it down into 4 different categories, I guess.
Okay.
So the first one is, of course, your expertise factor.
Right.
Right. Estheticians go to school. We learn everything from assessing the skin, looking at what the unique needs are from all the different skin types. We can look at underlying issues, things like, is it dehydrated? Do you have acne? What's causing the acne? How can we treat that? If you have something like rosacea, hyperpigmentation. If you're not trained on those things, sure, you can research it yourself.
Right.
Right. But we are taught those different things, and so we can make really good assessments as far as like what the problem is, what's causing the problem, and then we can create a protocol in helping address those issues, right? Now at home, of course, you could do that, but then you're doing trial and error.
Right.
You're trying this skincare line versus that skincare line. If you don't know what's really causing the issue, you may actually be causing more harm because you're using the wrong ingredients. You may be looking at TikTok trends and maybe it's not tailored to your skin type.
Yeah.
Right? And so you may be causing more harm than good. Also, estheticians, because we know, again, how to assess what's going on, we can also combine different products and treatments safely.
Right.
Right? And I wouldn't expect you to be able to go and buy this, chemical peel or acid and know how to layer it, safely with something else, like a retinol or something like that, right? So yeah, things like layering active ingredients from retinols to alpha hydroxy acids, we know how to do that because we know the proper protocols for it, right? We're doing it in a way that's safe and not damaging or irritating the skin. We can also perform things like extractions. And of course, you can do that at home too. But if you're not trained how to do it properly, if you're not extracting blackheads and whiteheads properly, and in another episode, we talked about the difference between blackheads and whiteheads and when to extract certain things, right? So we know how to extract it safely and hygienically. A lot of times people will try to do these things at home. They haven't been properly trained and they end up causing more harm than good. They end up actually popping the pimple and pushing and exacerbating the flare-up because you're actually popping the acne bacteria and it's going back into the skin, right? That's why I tell people, don't pop it because the next thing you know, you've got more the next day because you've just pushed all that bacteria to the surrounding cells in the skin, right? And then, of course, because you're not trained properly, you then can start to damage the skin. You start to see scarring in the skin. I would say most scarring that happens, even myself as a teenager, I still deal with my scars, is because I was trying to extract things improperly. Because I wasn't trained. I didn't know how to do it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about products? Because I know that we can't get everything like, over the counter, like the same quality of products as a professional can.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so when you're looking at your at-home products that you can buy over what we call over-the-counter, right? You can buy things like cleansers, you can buy exfoliants, you can buy masks, serums, right, with common ingredients like hyaluronic acid, which helps with hydration. You can buy a vitamin C over-the-counter that helps with the brightening of the skin. You can even buy alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids. Those are great chemical exfoliants. Or a niacinamide, which is my favorite because it soothes and it balances and does all the good things, right? So yes, you can have all those things as your DIY at home in your bathroom cabinet.
Okay.
Right? And those are all great, but pros go several steps further. We actually have additional ingredients that is not allowed to be sold to the general public. So things like enzymes, peels. This helps us go much, much deeper into the exfoliation process. We have little things called ampules that have a concentrated amount of different ingredients to target certain things, And then we can also customize masks. So depending on your skin type, all of these products, all these ingredients are only available to estheticians. They're much stronger. And so we're able to address things like aging, acne, topical dermatitis, all those types of things that it would be really hard for you to address on your own at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like when I go and I get a facial from you, you use so many different kinds of tools. Like I wouldn't even be able to, number one, have any idea what to buy for home. And two, probably I don't have access to like even purchasing them because, well, I do, but someone who isn't licensed, right? Yeah, you use so many of them. So can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Sure. Yeah, and again, if you're doing a DIY facial at home, yes, you can buy things like a jade roller.
Oh, yeah.
You can buy like an LED mask. Those are so huge right now. Like over Christmas, I felt like those were popping up all over the place, right? And those are great. Those are great to help maintain the health of your skin. But they're really no match for the advanced devices that only licensed estheticians can have access to because it requires training. You actually can't buy a lot of these things without showing your license. Right? And I kind of liken it to, you brush your teeth every day. You can get the high-powered toothbrushes. You can get the floss. You can get the rinse. But it doesn't do the same thing as when you go in for that deep cleaning, right?
That's a really good analogy, actually.
Yeah, so, but they both go hand in hand. You can't expect to just go get your teeth taken care of, every 6 months, right? You need to maintain it in between.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're just starting back at ground zero every time you go back in, whether it's a facial or the dentist, right? So yeah, there's so many great devices and technology that you can buy over the counter, but it doesn't compare. So I have things like a high frequency machine, which releases air molecules into the skin, so it reduces inflammation, it kills the acne bacteria. I have something called an ultrasonic skin scrubber, so instead of poking and prodding, it actually uses ultrasonic waves to actually give me a deeper cleansing and exfoliation without damaging the collagen in the skin. I have things like a microcurrent, which helps to lift and tighten the skin. So that's like my anti-aging facial. And then we have LED light, and the LED light therapy. This is a professional grade. So yes, you can get LED masks, but what we have is it's a professional grade. So the strength of it is at a specific to what we're trying to target, whether it's acne, redness, fine lines and wrinkles, things like that. So these all work at a much deeper level. And you're like, well, that's not fair. How come we can't get it? Well, it's because it requires a certain amount of education and training so that you don't end up causing damage to someone's skin.
Right.
So so in a nutshell, yes, there's technology you can do at home, and then there's technology you can only get from a licensed esthetician.
Yeah. Plus, it's just like a really relaxing and rejuvenating experience. We just had an episode on self-care.
Yeah.
And that one is episode 11. So
yeah, we talk all about how mental care equals self-care.
Right.
So yeah, I understand what you're saying. The other great benefit, of course, is you're laying down in a nice, calming atmosphere. My bed is very cozy. You want to fall asleep. We go everything from like a nice long facial massage on your face, on your shoulders, your neck, your scalp. There's
steam,
a lot of steam, calming aromatherapy.
Yes.
Nice music.
And you don't have to do anything. You just lay there.
Right. And that's the thing is yes, you can do all this at home.
Right.
But it's the difference between giving yourself a massage.
Yes.
And going in for a massage, right? So yes, we're treating the skin, but when you're going in for a professional facial, you're actually treating your well-being.
Yeah.
Right? Because you've got the nice music, the good smells, the massage. It all helps to reduce the stress.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just a good time to relax and rejuvenate. You can't do that if you're trying to do it yourself.
Right.
on
so
yourself.
Would it be fair to say then that the DIY facials have a place, but they're more for maintenance in between your professional facials?
Absolutely. I mean, you want to go see, like I said, with the dentist, right? You want to go see a professional so they can do the deep cleaning, they can address the anti-aging or the hyperpigmentation issues that you're dealing with. But yes, actually DIY has its place because it helps to maintain everything we just did in the treatment room so that when you come back a month or two later, we're not starting right back at ground zero where, now I have to spend 10 minutes trying to get rid of this buildup or having to do extractions or, and then it's not so pleasant.
Right, yes.
So yes, the DIY in between is great, perfect maintenance to get the most out of your facial treatments, right? And you can actually prolong how often you go in to see your esthetician if you are taking steps at home.
Okay.
To take care of yourself. So I highly recommend, if you're going to be doing DIYs at home for your facials, really invest in good, high quality products. You know?
Is there a particular product that you would recommend? Like, if you could pick one thing for someone to introduce themselves to maybe doing DIY facials at home.
Yeah, I think the one thing, of course, on top of your cleanser, toner,
Yeah, all the normal steps.
The normal steps, you want to invest and buy a really nice, hydrating facial mask.
Okay.
That you just put on your skin, and you can lay down, listen to some music, relax, and let it just soak all in.
Okay.
That's another great way to maintain the health of your skin
in
between your professional facials.
What about those like glass Korean skincare glass masks?
That's my favorite, and I don't remember the actual name. We'll put it in the show notes.
Okay, perfect.
But actually, you recommended it to me a while ago, and I tried it. It's the one that you put on, and it's like white.
Yeah, it's like a sheet.
It's like a sheet, and you go to bed with it. Like the longer you keep it on, the better. And in the morning, it's almost translucent.
Yep.
And when you remove it, your skin looks like glass.
Yeah,
like
it does. It's great.
It's loaded with like hyaluronic acid and a bunch of other like hydrating ingredients. Yeah, I really, really like that. So we'll put it in the show notes, the one that we're talking about. But yeah, invest in good, high quality products and add to your routine some type of a mask.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Well, if you've learned anything today, please give us a like, give us a follow, hit subscribe, all of the things you hear all of the time from all of the YouTubers. I'm Velia.
I'm Monina.
And until next time, keep experimenting with your beauty routine.